It's an important key cornerstone to being beautiful, having a healthy mouth. 86% of people that had their wisdom teeth removed have areas that never healed, a cavitation. And the problem with that is it's a perfect repository for bacteria, spirochetes, mold, candida, heavy metals, a very attractive place for what is a major epidemic right now with Lyme disease and Lyme spirochetes, and the co-infections of Lyme have been cultured in these third molar areas. So I urge everyone listening to this podcast to get something called a cone beam. We were told in dental school that the mercury is magically locked in. That was a lie. It off-gasses. You can test it. It's off-gassing when you drink hot liquids and you grind your teeth. That silver-colored filling was more than half mercury. I thought it was like 10%, maybe 15%, but it was like kind of mixed in. 51 studies, fluoride, decreases IQ in children. That's a sad one. Sometimes I'll clean up the whole mouth in a gentle, safe way, like I was saying, and there's something holding back. And then they're like, well, I had breast implants 10 years ago. And I'm like, aha, that's chronic inflammation. And there are people who genetically can't chelate, they can't eliminate. But doctors are always the ones to say, we healed you, we healed you. They're all better, we healed you. We cut out your cancer, we healed you. We cut out your tumor, we took out this cyst, we healed you. And it's really pure hubris. And it's, I think part of the reason why our medical system is so broken is that doctors were deified and did not recognize that their role was simply to help that patient help themselves.
You're listening to Cleanse, Heal, Ignite podcast, and I'm your hostess, Diane Kaiser, functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, former pro soccer player, transformational leader, holistic healer, and life purpose coach, helping you and your business awaken to your full potential. We are a transformation tribe of visionaries empowering passion-quenching, heart-centered advice to wellness warrior leaders on self-love, nutrition, mindset, and divorcing perfectionism. Our mission is to help you laugh your way to a sexy belly, love your way to vitality, and live your life with purpose by sharing real talk and truth drops that will help you cleanse your body, heal your hormones, and ignite your life. Side effects of this podcast may include all-day energy, happy hormones, perfect poops, increased confidence, becoming your own best healer, and catching the self-love virus. There's currently no vaccination to protect you from this and no known cure. In most cases, listeners experience a strong desire to accept new challenges, ditch toxic people, follow their heart, and dance like no one's watching. If you experience moods happier than usual, live it unapologetically and share with your social media friends immediately. Hey Warriors, before we get deeper into this episode on oral health and why it matters, because 75% of disease begins in the mouth, I wanted to announce the sponsor of our show, which is critically important to take care of our mouth, to take care of our beauty, energy, and immunity. And my friend Trina Felber over at Primal Life Organics takes that very seriously. So the two gifts I'm going to be giving away are over $500 in value. One of them is a Dental Detox Kit worth $79, and another is the non-toxic natural teeth whitener worth $450. Did you know the color of your teeth has a direct impact on your personal and professional relationships more than any other part of your appearance? In fact, new studies show a wider smile gives you a 58% greater chance of being hired for your dream job and makes you 53% more likely to earn a generous salary. So maybe the most shocking is how white teeth can make you look up to 10 years younger and 20% more attractive. Yet the worst thing that you can do for a whiter smile is to use mouthwash, brush more, or go to the dentist. So what to do instead is to try this really strange mouth detox, which whitens your teeth by 6 shades in only 15 minutes. All you need to do to enter is just subscribe, rate, and review the Cleanse, Heal, Ignite podcast, which you can do in your iTunes app, or you'll know what to do if you have another smartphone, because I have an iPhone. And then the second thing to do is tag 3 of your friends on this post. If you're looking at this on IGTV, on social media, that's where you will find it. And if you decide to purchase either one or both of the kits and you end up being the winner, I will simply refund you your money. Or if you don't want to wait and just purchase these 2 items on your own and you would rather not enter to win, just follow the links on the screen or below in the show notes. Now let's get on to the episode with Dr. Jerry Curatola. He is a biological dentist and trains many doctors all around the world who are practicing dentistry. He received in 2021 the Dentist of the Year award presented by the Top 100 Registry. This guy is funny, he's passionate, he's intelligent, and he really cares. And also remember that if you're going to do any kind of mercury detox or removal, it is highly important to prepare your body before, as well as to detox for up to a year after. And that is the work that I do in my Warrior Detox program. So check out the Warrior Detox, go to warriordetox.com, because just removing the silver fillings is not the only answer. It's also very important to remove the residue, which most of the time ends up in your brain because it is a neurotoxin. So without further ado, let's dive into the show. Today, I have Dr. Jerry Curatola, and he is the author of The Mouth-Body Connection and has done many, many things. This book, Dr. Jerry, how long did this book take to put all this information together?
That was a good 10 years of work. And and I actually, Diane Reverend, who has I gave her a byline with me because she just helped organize 3 manuscripts into that book.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It was really helpful, and she's helped a lot of other doctors, Dr. Oz, Dr. Perricone, and other doctors get their books together, because it's just, I think that's the hardest thing to do, is to write a book and have it relatable, readable, and that's what I tried to do.
Yeah. I say there's like 3 E's. Is there's someone with experience, education, and empathy. And when you find somebody who has all 3 of those things, then they're an amazing coach for you. Empathy for what you're going through, empathy for the symptoms that you've had, empathy because they've been there, and experience because they've worked with a lot of people who've been there. So obviously you've been there, done that. And I'd like everybody to hear a little bit more about you and like how did you get to writing this book? What is it that you do? What is it that we're going to talk about today? And who are the kinds of people that you've been helping with their oral health?
Yeah. First, before we start, I have to tell you, I love the 3 E's that you talked about. I use every dentist that comes to work with me, mentor with me, and actually partner with me. I call it the 3 H's. You have to have a good head. You have to have, certainly the education, the experience, the wisdom here. You have to have good hands. Too many dentists, it's not the right fit. They did well in dental school with the books and all, but you have to have good hands. You have to be dexterous. You're working in a 2x2 cube of the mouth. For the most part. And to do this very precise, intricate work, you have to have good hands. But the third one, which I consider equal in the trinity of the 3 H's, is the heart. You have to have a good heart. And that's where the empathy that you talk about comes in. That's where recognizing no matter where we work in the body, whether in the mouth or outside the body or anywhere else, there's a living, life force inside each person. And there are people sometimes I'll even refuse to treat until they are healthy enough so that I can bless that life force they have within them. So for me, that's why that resonated with me. And I'm going to use the 3 E's and the 3 H's.
Yeah.
but I always, began a lot of my talks to functional medicine doctors. I spoke to the National Association of Nutrition Practitioners. I speak to a lot of biologic dentists who I mentor. And the first thing, what motivated me to write this book, is the fact that oral health, which is everything that's in here, is the 800-pound gorilla, in a sense, that's sitting in the beauty and wellness room. Like, you cannot be beautiful, as we'll discuss in this interview. You cannot be healthy if your mouth's a mess. And you always ask the 3 beauty busters, the 3 beauty builders, but it's really important to understand that your mouth, 150 years ago in this country, they separated this in the education from the rest of this, even though dentists study the whole body and then focus here. They took medical school, and they took students of medicine in medical schools, and they told them, yeah, just worry about everything else. Forget about this.
Wow.
Cut the feet off too. And they said, oh, we'll create a podiatry school for that.
Mm-hmm.
But in Europe, they never divided. Medicine and dentistry never split. It's all one body. And what we know when we talk about biologic dentistry, it's not just about safely taking out your mercury fillings. Biologic dentistry is a very complex philosophy of looking not only at root causes of disease, which you do in your podcast, which is wonderful, but it's also understanding that there's a multifactorial component to disease and to wellness and disease. There's a psycho-emotional component, a spiritual component, and a physical component. And and what you understand when you look at a person from a biologic perspective is that each of those components are critical to them being in harmony with themselves and that life force within.
That's so beautiful. That's the H of holistic, right? Is that,
yeah,
when you look at your trilogy and you look at the overarching connection of all of them, that makes it holistic. It's beautiful. That's what for many years it was practiced. And then lately it's been like, yeah, let's cut this off. Like, this doesn't connect to this, but I'm a specialist over here.
Right.
And what people don't realize in the mouth is that there's a meridian that goes from every single root to other organs of your body. There's this periphery freeway that what we're trying to do, and Chinese medicine talks about this too, is like, well, if your liver is something's going on down here, it must be that thing. And it's like, well, wait a minute. What if it's something else way up here in your mouth that's pulling on the string?
I can tell you stories. Of people that I've treated. You're talking about the tooth organ relationship.
Yeah.
And the way I explain that, and I have that in my book, the way I explain the tooth organ relationship is your teeth are like the circuit breakers for the energy field around every organ in your body. So, and that's the interesting thing is that, everybody talks about energy medicine and this person's got bad energy, this good energy, this energy, that energy. Our immune system is not just biological. Our immune system is energetic. There is a field, an electromagnetic field around our body and around our organs. What's fascinating about all this is that your teeth have an acupuncture meridian that goes to each one of these. So, for example, the upper molars go to the breast, left breast, right breast. And on the bottom down here, the first molars on the bottom are the lungs. I had a patient from Texas referred to me by a functional medicine doctor to me in New York that was diagnosed with an aggressive tumor in her right lung. And she was actually scheduled to have that lung taken out, the whole lung taken out. And she went to a functional medicine doctor. She was obviously scared out of her wits. And the functional medicine doctor called me in New York, sent her up, and we did a cone beam, which we'll talk about. Cone beam is the gold standard of diagnostic capability. It's a 3-dimensional X-ray. We did a cone beam. And on a root canal tooth that she had on a lower first molar on the right side, around the base of that tooth, which the regular dental X-ray, the little dental X-rays that dentists take, that regular dental X-ray showed nothing. The 3D showed a large cavitation and infection around that root canal. Oh. So we removed that infected tooth. We treated the surrounding bone. We used regenerative materials, stem cells, and a dental laser that I pioneered the use of for helping to stimulate the bone to grow back. It stimulates what we call in dental speak mitotic division of the osteoblasts, which in English means it gets the bone cells that make new bone to divide and grow back faster. It also regenerates collagen for the face. It also can do a lot of things in the beauty world, but in this biologic world, the reason I started using this is that it disinfects the area, disinfects the bone, and gets the bone to grow back faster. This woman returned back to Texas, and 5 weeks later, she had her pre-surgical workup. And the doctors were amazed. They were like, your tumor in 5 weeks shrunk to 1/3 the size.
Wow.
1/3 the size. So her body, all I did was eliminate a blockage, an energetic blockage, to enable her body to heal itself. And you'll hear that a lot. We can heal ourselves. We can heal ourselves. Yes, we have this God-given ability to self-regulate and heal.
Yeah. And when you were mentioning earlier about the meridians of the front teeth and the breasts, and how the work that you're doing is truly angelic. I mean, anybody who helps someone help themselves and their cells to remove infections or blocks wherever they are in the body, so they can return to homeostasis and happy and healthy and holistic, is an angel. So like, I see you truly, like, I don't think it's just the light above your head right now. There is some halo up in there coming through your third eye.
Wait a minute, that's a hi-hat. Okay.
No, it's not. That's a halo.
I'd love to say that. Where's my wife? I got to tell my wife.
She's like, yeah, that's Steve's full of shit.
Like, oh yeah, he's got a halo. Yeah.
Well, you haven't seen it behind
you know what? I'm getting choked up by what you're saying, because I'll tell you why. Dentists were always treated like second-class citizens in the medical industry. In other words, if you didn't get into medical school, the joke was you go to dental school.
Whoa.
Chiropractors were even lower down, and weren't even recognized as a medical specialty for many years by the elite medical profession. The reality is that dentists never got a big head, but doctors were always the ones to say, we healed you. We healed you. You're all better. We healed you. We cut out your cancer. We healed you. We cut out your tumor. We took out this cyst. We healed you. And it's really pure hubris. And it's, I think part of the reason why our medical system is so broken is that doctors were deified and did not recognize that their role was simply to help that patient help themselves. And there was never any prevention, at least in dentistry. It was like, brush and floss, see your dentist twice a year. By the way, that was made up by the toothpaste industry. That was not anything scientific, but started this whole preventative dentistry thing, which we'll talk about as well, because it's an important key cornerstone to being beautiful is having a healthy mouth.
Yeah, absolutely. This is what Dr. Jerry is talking about here. He's referring to all these different teeth and how they refer to parts of your body. So I don't know if you had anything that you wanted to comment on.
Yeah. No, I actually have something really important. How many people have gut issues? And gut issues, I'm sure you've already had people speak about how gut issues affect beauty. And so the beauty and wellness when your gut's a mess. And how many people listening now had their wisdom teeth removed? Probably, I would say about 80% had their wisdom teeth removed. It's almost like a rite of passage when you go from, late teens into your early 20s. Your dentist is like, let's take these wisdom teeth out. They're in the way there. The problem is that almost all of those people, so if you look at the far corners, to the left, to the right, to the lower right and the lower left, if you go and look in those four corners, you can see what's the organ system that's connected there. Well, on tooth number one, it's the small intestine is a big thing. There's a heart in there as well. People get all these, arrhythmias and things like that mitral valve prolapse, and we call MVP and things like that, which is where your heart has an irregular rhythm. It's all in these third molar areas. And the problem is that it is the way these third molars are removed, were traditionally removed, and the way for years and years and years prior to cone beam, we didn't know, but these areas would not heal. They get a cavitation. And that's a slang term that was coined in 1931 by an orthopedic surgeon to refer to an area of necrotic bone. It's called jaw osteonecrosis. And it's like a little cave where the tooth used to be that the bone did not grow back. And the problem with that is it's a perfect repository for bacteria, for, spirochetes, mold, candida, heavy metals. And in addition, it's also a very attractive place for what is a major epidemic right now with Lyme disease and Lyme spirochetes. And the co-infections of Lyme have been cultured in these third molar areas. So this is the problem, is that 86% of people that had their wisdom teeth removed have areas that never healed. So I urge everyone listening to this podcast to get something called a cone beam. It's a 3D scan where, for example, if my head is the cavitation or the hole, then you go sideways, you have dense bone here, cortical bone, and dense cortical bone here, which a 2D x-ray doesn't show. But when you go like this, all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, there's a hole there. Mm-hmm. And so many people struggling with gut issues actually have jaw cavitations that are, it's a source of chronic inflammation. But what else does it do? It shuts off the immune shield and that energetic shield you could think of like Star Trek, the spaceship Enterprise, and the Klingons are firing a missile. And if the shields are up, like, Scotty, get the shields up. Bad Scottish impression, but the shields are up, the missile bounces off. But when the shields are down, you're vulnerable. You're vulnerable. What people don't realize also, Diane, is that our bodies are fighting cancer and all kinds of diseases every day.
Yeah. So
we need, our immune system is such, that shield is so important for our life force and this tenth of the body. Mm-hmm. And so many, you don't just catch cancer. Cancer is like, Tommy got prostate cancer. Like this cancer bug flew in his body and he got prostate cancer. Or Susie got breast cancer and this and that. So now, obviously we recognize that there are environmental toxicities and things that we're battling. I mean, we live, I like to say, staying healthy today is like walking through a minefield, and sometimes we hit a mine and people are messed up. And those are usually the people that will be listening to these types of podcasts again, because they realize that the conventional healthcare system never prepared them for the kind of information that you are sharing right here. Yeah. So, that's why, getting your immune shield back up, fix your cavitations, get your infected root canals out, take out those mercury fillings, treat the gum disease. Yep. By the way, gum disease is the body's number one source of chronic low-grade inflammation. Yeah. You have a 10 times greater chance of a heart attack. I can't tell you how many cardiologists that have been treating patients with uncontrolled gum disease. And they never even thought not only not to look in the mouth, but to say, hey, I want to see a periodontal evaluation by somebody, of your gums. I want to see an evaluation whether or not you have mild, moderate, or advanced gum disease, because half of the people listening on this broadcast have advanced gum disease. Yeah. 80% over the age of 34 have some stage of gum disease. Wow. And it's linked to Alzheimer's disease. It's linked to pancreatic cancer, pregnancy complications in young women, premature low-weight babies, preeclampsia, all of this stuff. So tell me if I'm talking too much.
Jerry, you have too much to say. No, you're not talking too much. It's very clear that you're passionate about this because you have seen, let me just air quote this, miracles that we are so accustomed to hearing that in Western medicine that like, oh, it's a miracle that you healed alone without us taking the cancer out or whatever. And that's awful egotistical to think that they are the only ones that could help us heal. And so what I love about what you're saying is that if we really got to the root and figured out how to get out of our own way and where is this energy block, this is the kind of heroic work that when someone hears it, then it's up to them. When someone's hearing this, they're either going, oh, I can't believe this, because we've been so brainwashed to think that we need fluoride in our toothpaste, that we need to drink water that has fluoride, that we need mercury fillings to fill in a cavity that would be stronger than porcelain or other materials, that pulling out wisdom teeth because they're in the way is necessary, or that, oh, you have a root canal, we should fill it up with this stuff because this is the only way that we can help it heal. These are all things that we've been taught, and it is very difficult, I get it, when you're hearing this kind of information to think, well, how come if I've been hearing these things since I was a kid, for 30, 40 years, why would these things be out there? And why would the majority of dentists be treating our mouths this way when now here's Dr. Jerry talking about something totally different? And we're on a summit, not a podcast, but this will probably later used as my podcast in some way, fashion. So that's what I'd love for you to talk about, Dr. Jerry, is that there's all of these things, right? I hear so many people saying that, okay, well, I already had myself. Okay, I'll tell you my story. I don't know if I told you this when I met you at Dr. Pompa's event a few weeks ago, but I had my breast implants put in 2011. That same week, I thought I was like, let me just be really productive here. And I also thought aesthetically, not holistically, not biologically, I did not do this for health as much as I did it for aesthetics. The 2 days after my breast implants were installed, I figured I'd go to my dentist and have all of my fillings removed. And I had every single molar had been a filling, a silver filling since I was like 7 or 8. I had all of them removed. He was not wearing any kind of, hazmat suit. I wasn't wearing anything specific.
Yeah.
So I did it. I thought it was, I spent about $3,000. I thought, okay, yeah, let's just get it all done. And then now that I know different, I went, oh crap. There could be, I know there's mercury all in my mouth, probably my brain from it off-gassing. So
the greatest amount of mercury is when you take them out. So the greatest amount, so it's so important that everyone go to a dentist that uses a good protocol for removing, even if they're not really, you don't even have to be that knowledgeable in the biologic world, but getting mercury fillings out safely is so important. I was on the Dr. Oz show talking about toxic fillings, and they filmed me in my office in New York, safely removing dental amalgam that showed the whole procedure. And then we use a 3D scanner and we make these 3D ceramic fillings, right, to replace them that are, have the aesthetics, the physical properties, and the strength, and we use ozone under the cavity preparations to disinfect them. So it's a whole protocol with charcoal, glutathione, selenium, chlorella, and then we have all kinds of filtration. The entire room, air is filtrated and everything. So getting back to you took all that out unsafely. I can tell you right now, that was a Molotov cocktail of mercury vapor that you ingested.
Yeah, so what do we do?
Nervous tissue. Well, it's a process to get it out. By the way, full disclosure, 18 years ago, I'm practicing dentistry 37 years this year. And I say I was 12 when I got out. I was like Doogie Howser.
Sure, that's awful anti-aging of you.
Yes, very nice. You know what I do now? Because I'm gray and everything, what I do now is I tell everybody I'm 75, And they go, you look fantastic. You look great. No, actually, I'm 62.
You dork.
So, I gotta kind of like play a little picture here. But, when I think about all the years that went by, well, for the first years, and I can proudly say that I came out of dental school and I enrolled in a master's program in holistic health, which was like voodoo in 1983.
It was.
And then after that, and it was a colleague of mine who actually was the co-inventor of my toothpaste. he and I enrolled in this program, Dr. David Chuck and I. One of the things that I knew immediately is I will never, ever put anything with mercury in anyone's head, because I didn't even realize that that silver-colored filling was more than half mercury. I thought it was like 10%, maybe 15%, but it was like kind of mixed in. We were told in dental school that the mercury is magically locked in. That was a lie. It off-gasses. You can test it. It's off-gassing when you drink hot liquids and you grind your teeth, and you're off-gassing mercury vapor. And there are people who, as you probably know, who genetically can't chelate, they can't eliminate, they can't get this stuff out.
That's me. Double homozygous MTHFR.
That's you. So I want to hear the second part of this story, because I remember when we met, you had told me that you got your life back when you got this stuff out of your body. But tell me how deep you went.
Oh, I have a lot more to go. And this is the story that I continue to run into with all of our clients as well, is that, I removed my breast implants about 6 months ago. And then, of course, things started to get better. But I believe that when I started doing, slow dose chelation with, cyto detox and doing a full phasal, really opening up the pathways and starting to pull out the easier toxins and then going into the brain, that's when I started feeling like literal Mad Hatter. Like I've had moments in this summit. I mean, this whole last 6 months, I went through a lot. Like I also ruptured my Achilles tendon after I removed my breast implants. I've seen a lot of women also after they remove their breast implants or some sort of toxin that something else breaks. Like
yes,
a lot of things.
Very true. And I want you to know, conversely, I mean, I have a very safe, effective way of both removing the mercury. You don't do it all at once.
Yeah.
Even if you can chelate, even if you don't have the ApoE4 gene or the MTHFR, which is pro-inflammatory genotype. Yeah, you are the lucky one, but you're beautiful.
Thanks. I'm trying. I'm doing a lot.
Unfortunately, the best part about this, Diane, is that now that you have a pro-inflammatory genotype. You are the best doctor. You can say in a dental office, hey, I have to go slow here, okay? Because my body can't handle more than this. Big problem with a big biologic dental practice, medical dental practice in Switzerland. I think Swiss Biomed or something. They are very aggressive in removing everything in one shot, putting the patient in a hospital bed. And to me, that's very injurious to the life force. You have to really, it's very, you have to make sure that the person is healthy enough to heal. So I think there's a certain amount, and that's a chicken and the egg thing sometimes, because sometimes they're sick from all the toxicity, but at the same time, they're not well enough to heal from removing it. So it becomes, the two things I pray for every morning: wisdom and faith. Faith in what faith is believing what you don't see, and certain things you hope for. And it's very interesting. I pray for that because I believe it's a gift from the Creator. I believe there's a Creator behind the creation. And so that's one thing I pray. The second thing is wisdom. And it's really interesting because the more I've prayed for that, the more my wisdom has not been the wisdom from books, the wisdom from my education of many years, the wisdom from 37 years of dental practice. It's an intuitive wisdom. It's so cool because it's intuitive. I can feel the life force of the person I'm in front of. And I can actually know intuitively with that godly wisdom, I can feel whether or not I have to get that person in a healthier, stronger state so that they can heal. And that's one of the things, with you and in this process, sometimes I'll clean up the whole mouth in a gentle, safe way, like I was saying, and there's something holding back. And then they're like, well, I had breast implants 10 years ago. And I'm like, aha, that's chronic inflammation. And I wouldn't dismiss that chronic inflammation from weakening your Achilles tendon or from other things or affecting your skin and your hair, so many, it's all connected. bottom line, it's all connected. We're all connected.
Yeah, that too. So what I have been seeing in the summit is that our planet needs us. Mother Earth is dying, and it's not just a global warming, whatever. This is a big deal, and so the more beautiful we become naturally, the more beautiful our Earth can become naturally, and the more we can connect to each other. I'm deeply intuitive too, and sometimes that could be like a curse.
Oh, yeah,
I feel a lot where I'm like, I can.
The worst part of it is when you intuitively know you can't treat this person. They're not emotionally in a place that can partner, because they have to be actively. You get these patients who are very desperate sometimes, and they help me, and you want to just help them and hug them, But at the same time, they're their own worst enemy. They don't believe. They're so blocked here, in third eye and up here, that they deep down they don't believe they can get healthy. They're just hoping for savior.
Question on that.
And it's really interesting. Yeah.
Do you believe that, one of the things I like to talk about a lot, and people push back on, of course, because of the brainwashing, is fluoride in the water, fluoride in toothpaste, important for healthy teeth and gums, but yet fluoride is the number one biggest blocker
third eye, calcification of third eye.
Right.
51 studies, fluoride, decreases IQ in children. That's a sad one. That's along with unsafe vaccines and everything else, and the amount of autism. You have kids where their IQ is being affected in their developing nervous system by a toxic halide chemical called fluoride. Now, let me say, as a member of the American Dental Association, that fluoride, when it came out, we thought it was a good idea. Why? Because we observed that you introduce this chemical and there's this rapid remineralization, that occurs from teeth that are demineralized in a decay process in dental caries. The problem is, let's put the toxicity of the chemical on the side for a minute. By the way, most of the fluoride's a made-up word. It's actually fluorine, F- on the periodic table. It's the most highly charged, negatively charged element. It's the most highly charged non-radioactive element on the periodic table, which means that another negatively charged ion, that our teeth and bones are made of the same thing. It's called hydroxyapatite. The apatite is this mineral, and so you have the OH, which is from water. You have hydroxyapatite, the mineral that teeth and bones are made of. What happens is when this hydroxyapatite breaks down with decay, when you introduce fluorine, which we call fluoride, it displaces the hydroxy and it becomes fluorapatite. Fluorapatite is very hard but very brittle. So in the 1980s, 25 years or so after we started this grand public health experiment called fluoridation, we had the orthopedist wanted to see if hip fracture rates went down. So in the New England Journal of Medicine, Journal of the American Medical Association, it's the exact opposite. Hip fracture rates went up exponentially. Why? Because the fluoride damage to their teeth and bones, and I call it damage, because fluorapatite is over 30% weaker than your normal, so we're weakening teeth and bones, even though they're very hard but very brittle. So look at this glass candle I just picked up, right? Very hard, I can't scratch it, but if I banged it on this desk, it'll break in a million pieces. So when my mother, in the 1980s, tripped on the carpeted front steps of our home, she didn't have a bruised hip, she had a fractured hip. So the orthopedists have gone everything, disrupting bone metabolism, and the epidemic of osteoporosis. So many studies. Your viewers can go to fluoridealert.org to get the full deal of all the scientific studies, good science, not junk science. We have fluoridated communities in the United States with higher rates of decay than non-fluoridated. We have an epidemic of dental caries. We have children. Over 60% of children right now have teeth damaged by fluoride, making them It's called fluorosis, dental fluorosis, and skeletal fluorosis. Same thing happens to the bones, making them more prone to decay and all kinds of orthopedic issues than if they didn't have this toxic chemical to start with. You know what? How to control dental decay? The way we control dental decay is to make peace with your microbes. So what did I do? 1996, 97, I went to programs at Harvard Medical School in complementary and alternative medicine under the direction of this Dr. David Eisenberg. And I came back and I laid in bed and I was meditating in the morning. It's when I get my downloads from the universe come in the morning. And the download I got is I have to help change the way dentistry is practiced. And I'm very excited about that because I'm mentoring so many dentists in my office, and dentists call me and say, hey, can I come just watch you? And everything. I'm like, yeah. So finally, I think we will have an American Institute for Biologic Medicine and Dentistry, a center to mentor and teach real biologic dentistry and biologic medicine. So I'm very excited about that. But that morning I was in bed. I said, I have to change the way dentistry is practiced. And the second thing is I have to change what people are using to brush their teeth. This fluoride detergent toothpaste with bug killers to kill plaque. And the best way that we can reduce caries is not to kill and destroy, but to make peace with our microbes, to rebalance the natural ecology of the mouth. That's the number one beauty builder. Make peace with your microbes on your skin, hair, mouth, your respiratory system. Your gut is obviously the big brother, so the oral microbiome and the gut microbiome are kissing cousins. Very good friend of mine, Nick Perricone, great medical doctor, wrote the introduction to that book you held up, wrote a book on the wrinkle cure. And it was everything about what's going on in your gut, what you're eating, what you're putting in for what's coming out, and that microbiome is so fascinating because it's changed who we are as humans. We are, in a sense, walking bacteria containers. And the bacteria in your mouth actually are an intelligent organ system. They're an intelligent semi-permeable membrane that transports ionic minerals, calcium and phosphorus, from your saliva to your teeth. The bacteria help remineralize your teeth when it's in balance, when it's healthy. It carries oxygen to your gums. It carries free radicals away from your gums. It's a mind blower. I was taught in dental school that the bacteria cause tooth decay and gum disease. And that is you're in the right church, wrong pew. It is pathogenic bacteria that cause tooth decay and gum disease. But pathogens are resident bacteria that in a balanced environment actually behave probiotically. So it's like, I make a coarse analogy of, it's like you take a bunch of, good girls and send them to Mexico on spring break and they start doing shots of tequila and you have Girls Gone Wild. So that, not that I ever watched that, but it was a catchy title, but in actuality, and the boys do the same thing as the girls. So the Boys Gone Wild. So the reality is that what we do when we put sugar in our mouths, which is the beauty buster, you want me to give these 3 beauty busters and the 3 beauty builders, or?
Three. Yeah, we call them beauty builders, and the beauty builders would be the good things, and then there's the beauty blockers. But you can
blockers.
Either way, there's a lot of B's.
I call them beauty busters.
I like it. You can say that. You roll with it.
So the beauty builders. Let's talk about that. Beauty builders are one. I would say nutrition is a cornerstone for the mouth and for your body.
It's actually you said make peace with your microbes first, number one.
Make peace with your microbes.
Yeah, so nutrition would be number two.
Get rid of all the junk products. Let's talk about junk products. Yeah. Detergent, toothpaste, commercial toothpaste with fluoride, charcoal. Big fad right now. Everybody loves charcoal. I use charcoal to get mercury out, and I use a push catch system with glutathione and charcoal. But charcoal in toothpaste strips your microbiome. I love coconut oil. Yeah. Oil pulling is a very popular thing. If you do it too much, you're going to strip your microbiome. So you don't want to strip it. You don't want to kill it. You don't want to kill it with triclosan or tea tree oil or other essential oils that are highly antimicrobial, like peppermint oil, tulsi oil, cinnamon oil. So many of these essential oils. There's so much misinformation in oral care. I have done 20 years of research on the oral microbiome. So when I made this product, Revitin, the first thing I did is I made a product that was more, I'm opening it, taking the little seal. Okay.
See now, I love it. It's my favorite one.
Here's Revitin. You could eat it. It's safe to eat.
It doesn't say if swallowed, take your child to the ER.
Right, you like that? The poison warning. Do you know why that?
Take your kid to a playground.
Do you know why? It's funny. That's not funny, but it is kind of comical how the FDA took 10 years to put a poison warning on the poison in toothpaste. So Procter & Gamble created a product in the 1980s called Crest Sparkle. It was bubblegum flavored.
Used it.
Fluorescent blue. Taste, bubblegum. Yum, yum, yum. There's enough fluoride in a tube of toothpaste this big to kill a child, 2 children under 5. Fluoride fatalities in children went up 280%. You didn't hear it because it was before the internet, and I like to say before Al Gore invented the internet. That was a great one.
Yep.
But so we didn't have the access to information like we do now. FluorideAlert.org, you can put that one up. Talk about fluoride. But anyway, it took them 10 years. They put a poison warning on toothpaste. Keep out of reach of children. If more than a pea-sized amount is swallowed, call poison control right away.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, okay, thanks. But they made the product bubblegum flavored, so kids were eating it. So the first thing is, every ingredient in here came out of a health food store when we started this 20 years ago. 20 years. 20 years, 3 patents through the early 2003 and all that. Now we have, vitamin K2 and minoxidil 7 and D3 and all that. I have a marine mint product, Revitin product coming out, marine mint, that has kelp and other things that we're patenting in there that are, mint can be very antimicrobial. So again, I said, make peace with your microbes. Don't kill and destroy. The reason why Revitin in double-blind clinical research reduced inflammation dramatically, like 46% in 14 days, stops gums bleeding in a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I can't put it on here because it would be regulated as a drug. But we did double-blind clinical research in Miami, at the University of Miami, Catholic University in Rome. We went to Europe and did this. The Italian dentists were actually stealing the toothpaste and taking it home, the ones that were doing the research, because they were observing all these different things. That's another problem with a lot of these oral care products. No research. That charcoal toothpaste, this and that, and da-da-da, hello, goodbye, did this, did that. Natural dentist, no research, no studies. Just a bunch of stuff that they thought sounded good to do. Like charcoal binds to toxins. Oh, it's good. Oh, yeah, it binds to everything, including your microbes that are protecting you.
Yeah.
that are aiding in remineralization, that are bringing oxygen to your gums and taking free radicals away from your gums. Xylitol, supposed to be natural sugar. Baloney.
Right.
Xylitol was a means for a big company like DuPont in its subsidiary Danisca to take a bio-waste, GMO corn cobs that's loaded with xylitol, and take a bio-waste and turn it into a multi-billion-dollar sugar alternative right after saccharin and aspartame, in my opinion. But
Sounds
you
like
can
the
look
whole
it up.
Mercury debate.
Your dog eats xylitol, it dies. If you eat xylitol, you just get wicked diarrhea and really bad gas.
I can for sure vouch for that.
And in the mouth, they did studies in Finland that it disturbs plaque from forming on teeth. No, it disturbs the microbiome in a big way, the way it disturbs your gut with the wicked gas and diarrhea. In your mouth, it disturbs the microbiome, so it actually takes it out of what we call microbial homeostasis. Make peace with your microbes.
Yes.
That's what Whitener is all about. There's nothing so extraordinary other than this product, and thank God I had the wisdom to put this product is the first to respect the new science of the microbiome.
Yes.
Promoting microbial homeostasis. And it's hard to put this in a toothpaste, to be honest with you. It's very hard to put this in a toothpaste because putting these ingredients in, and it took us years to make it act like a toothpaste.
Yeah, I can appreciate that.
You know, my little grandson, who's 2 years old, has been using this since 6 years old. I'm sorry, 6. He's only 2. He's 6 months old.
Reverse aging too. Wow.
He's 6 months old, yeah. 6 months old, he's using this. Since his teeth came in, he's been using this. His teeth are beautiful. So make peace with your microbes.
I have something to share about that because I've been using it since I met you, and you know, lichen planus, and I have had that for years, trying to figure out what's going on inside of my mouth. And I thought
microbiome imbalance.
Yeah, and I used to literally like pull on the inner lining of my cheeks. I would have stuff on the inner lining, and I'd like, God, why do I have all this white crap coming out of this? And it was on my mouth, on the corner of my mouth. And I have asked many dentists, many holistic practitioners. I've asked, like, this has been over 10 years. And I thought, well, maybe this is still the mercury that's leaving, you know, from me having it in my brain for so many years. And it's almost gone. I have never been able to say that about anything. I've even had dentists tell me, well, maybe that's just your biome of your mouth. Like, maybe that's just how your mouth is. And I'm like, what? How is that an answer?
That's what I want to like to the point.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe that's just the way you are. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. That's like saying your labs look normal, but I feel like crap. But that's what I put up
when I hear that from patients, because they come to me and I'm like, look, you know, in order for your mouth to be healthy, you need a healthy microbiome.
Yeah.
And I developed something that helps do that. And actually, people report if they once had canker sores, they use this, they're gone overnight. You know, I have mothers from all over. I had a mother from South Africa send her husband, because it's not available in South Africa yet, hopefully this year, 2020. Her husband was a pilot, fly up to buy a case of this because it's the only thing her kid that helped her child's mouth. That really helped. The kid didn't want to use any toothpaste because it would burn, it would make his mouth sore and all this stuff. So when I hear these things of that's the biome of your mouth, I just have to say, I don't know if I can bring it up. I have a Bitmoji. It's the one that says, I can't even.
Oh, I know. I love that one. I laughed so hard when you were on stage.
I can't even. It's like there was Kelly Ripa with Colgate Total, you know, kills 15 times more bacteria in your mouth. And I was like, that's like killing a coral reef protecting an island.
Yeah.
And that's when I put the I can't even Bitmoji. Yeah. But the second biggest beauty builder, of course, is nutrition. And it's alkalizing, I call it AAA, alkalizing anti-inflammatory. And there are a lot of people have different inflammatory triggers and antioxidant rich. Your mouth burns a lot of antioxidants, especially vitamin C and K2, D3. So great. We're now looking at, we're going to the mushrooms now. We're beyond CBD. We're looking at ingredients like chagra, chaga, reishi and chaga. You're going to hear all about that. Everything. Oh my God! I mean, I even think there's like CBD toilet paper now.
I know. Tampons. What?
Yeah. So nutrition is smack dab in the middle of a beauty builder for the mouth and your skin.
Yeah.
And then the third one is really interesting. I have one. I'm going to talk about beauty blockers. Which are the next three. But the third one is managing stress and healthy exercise. People, let's just take exercise, for example. I mean, I do a 12-minute, high intensity interval training, which improves immune system competence. It actually improves fluid flow in the dental tubules. It's like your teeth have respiration. In the dental tubules, there's fluid flow between the enamel and the dentin to the pulp, communication. So this is kind of a way to really flush your system. High intensity interval training, which I have in my book. By the way, all of this is in the book. I even have 7 anti-inflammatory yoga poses in the book. I'm not going to do any here right now.
I'm a yoga teacher, and I would totally appreciate that you had that in your book.
It's in your book, homage to Diane. But let's talk about this for the mouth and for beauty. People, when they're under stress, grind their teeth, saliva dries up. It really affects collagen production. But especially immune system competence, and circulatory function. So when you meditate, just mindfulness, 6 minutes of mindfulness. You don't have to sit on a mountaintop for a half a day just to get mindful. I mean, digital detox is a great stress reliever. I know people now that just do a complete digital detox for a period, and on the weekends they do a full digital detox. I haven't been brave enough to do that yet, but we can disconnect. We can get away from this. We can say no. Just say no. Turn it off. Like I found myself. It's so addictive, and we're all busy. That I'm at a dinner table. I'm out to dinner with my wife. It's the most insulting thing that you could possibly do is pick up a phone in front of someone and not give them your undivided attention.
Yeah, that hurts.
It's such a disconnect. So stress in the mouth, TMJ issues, grinding your teeth, you lose support for your face. It is definitely a beauty buster.
Yeah.
A beauty. You said buster, right? Yeah.
Blocker buster.
So managing. So I the converse of that, the beauty builder, is read my book, mindfulness, meditation, yoga. Great. Breathe. That's another beauty builder. Breathe. A lot of people can't breathe. Everyone, by the way, the cone beam. Make sure everyone who's listening to this or watching this get a cone beam that can show your airway. Because if you're not breathing, not only will you not be beautiful, you will die. You will develop heart disease and all kinds of other problems. And I diagnose it all the time. Dentists don't even know what to look for. And so that's part of my biologic training is look at the airway. Airway health is essential. So beauty busters, number 1. What's the biggest one in dentistry? Beauty buster for the skin as well. Sugar.
Love the inflection.
My little 2-year-old grandson, whenever we give him pizza, we'll go pizza, like he goes, pizza. So now we do sugar. He's 2 and he goes, pizza.
Oh, cute. knew. This is his first word.
But anyway, sugar is the biggest beauty buster. Sugar's a beauty buster. And he's been, my grandson's been sugar free. We actually do use cauliflower crust, which is great.
Yay. Yay.
Sugar, hidden sugars. What are hidden sugars? Carbs. People crave carbs. I can tell you they have candida, their bacteria, their microbiome's out of whack. So alkalize, they need to alkalize. Alkalize, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant-rich diet. Second beauty buster is gum disease. Gum. I spoke about it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Gum disease is the body's number one source of, big word, inflammation. Mm-hmm. So sugar, inflammation, microbiome out of balance. Gum disease, inflammation, microbiome out of balance. And the third one is airway disease, is the biggest beauty buster, which I just talked about. Your airway, you have to breathe. And if you have an airway deficit, you will not be breathing right. You will have sleep apnea for sure. So the way to really know about that beauty buster in the mouth, which your airway is going in here, you'll see a very high vaulted palate. One of the biggest reasons people have this beauty buster of airway disease is orthodontics. When they were younger, pulling teeth, they took out, the old way of doing orthodontics was you come in, your mouth is crowded like this, and the orthodontist would be like, we're going to take out your first bicuspids and your wisdom teeth, and now they have 8 less teeth. So what happens to the arch? Oh, the teeth get like this, they get a line, nice, but it shrinks the arch. It closes your airway. Now your tongue has less space and gets pushed further back. So what do? We have an appliance called the DNA appliance. We expand the airway so you can breathe. And that's a great beauty builder.
Yeah. This is I've seen lung issues and like the breathing issues. People are constantly reporting that it's hard to breathe. Like I have panic attacks. A lot of women report that. And these are things like,
I would love to see those people. That's a big campaign for me right now. I diagnose 3 to 5 people a day with airway disease.
Wow.
They don't even know.
Wow.
And so they get a sleep study. They go to their doctor. They get a sleep study. They're wearing CPAP. It's like the contraption for Blue Velvet.
My dad wears that.
CPAP. That's forced air. I'm not saying that's bad. It's keeping him alive. But let's fix the problem, not treat the symptom.
Right.
The symptom is open the airway.
Right.
And a lot of it, some people, in all honesty, some people it's not. There are other causes of airway disease too. Sometimes people genetically have a small opening.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it's the tongue being pushed back by orthodontics, making it narrower. Even people do Invisalign, and they're doing interproximal reduction. They make room to make the teeth line up, and they're making the airways smaller. So everything should be open and breathe.
Wow. God, it's like, it's literally almost like black and white. They're totally 2 different schools of thought. And was the airway disease, is that the third one, the third beauty blocker?
Yeah.
And when you're saying like nutrition, or make peace with your microbes, and number 1, which would also mean like mercury, right? Like removing the toxins. So that's part of that one.
So the first one, you only gave me 3. I really could use 5.
Okay. We'll give you 2 more, and I'll decide. How about that?
Actually, you know what? Let me go to the book. A minute. The book has 4 cornerstones to oral health.
Okay, cool.
The first is eliminate toxicity, and that toxicity is mercury fillings, jaw cavitations, which we spoke about.
Yep.
Root canals, we spoke about. Root canals are a source of chronic low-grade inflammation. Most root canals which we once believed were fine, on cone beam X-ray, which is why everyone here needs to get a cone beam. Everyone on this podcast, everyone on this program needs to get a cone beam evaluation, especially if you've had your wisdom teeth out, if you've had root canals, and if you've had orthodontics. Make sure you have a cone beam that can read the airway. Ask your doctor. Most oral surgeons have these machines. We have them. All of my offices have cone beam machines. So, cone beam. What else? What are the other toxicities in the mouth? We talked about gum disease, root canals. We talked about eliminating harmful oral care products, alcohol-based mouthwash, fluoride toothpaste, fluoride in general. Do not drink fluoridated water. By the way, drinking fluoridated water does nothing for decay. It never did. It was, in my opinion, a scientific hoax. So there you have it. That's the get the junk out of the trunk. Second cornerstone, nutrition. Spoke about that. I coined this AAA. Whether you're keto, whether you're paleo or vegan, whatever, you're on a plant-based. By the way, I think everyone should be 70-80% plant-based. Whether you're a pescatarian, a vegetarian, a Presbyterian, you want to be.
Yeah, I would say paleo, keto, Oreo.
I don't even know, like I have people that don't talk to me because I'm not fully vegan, like but the reality is alkalizing, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant rich. The third one is that stress and stress management and healthy exercise. And then the fourth cornerstone is Airway Health. That is a major cornerstone. And there are so many people. There's so much heart disease, diabetes from people not breathing. What it does, your cortisol levels, not getting proper sleep. Ariana Huffington was the first. She was like falling over or something, and she was bumping, and she actually, I think, broke her leg or something because she was sleep deprived.
Yeah,
and she's made it a big crusade to talk about sleep. And it is one of the most rejuvenating things, sleep. But you can't sleep if you don't have airway health.
Right.
That's why I don't think the focus sleep. Sleep is something everyone needs for beauty. Yeah. Everyone needs sleep for beauty. But if you don't have a healthy airway, now we're talking oral health, head and neck. You need a healthy airway, and a biologic dentist, knowledgeable in airway disease, can fix that.
Yep. So it's important to have somebody who can look at all of these things, you guys. And
correct.
So I'll start to summarize all of this for you is that, because I get the question all the time, how do I get started with somebody like this? And does Dr. Jerry take new patients? And I know you have a really busy practice and you help people in many different places. So for now, in the essence of time, what I would say is definitely grab his book. And then also, are there links in there, Dr. Jerry, about how people can find a biological dentist that does cone beam and everything too? Because I could provide.
Yeah, that was hard because there are these organizations like IAOMT and IABDM, and they're more like clubs that dentists go to. What we need training. We need real biologic training. So I'm building a faculty. I'm building a center that really, and I hope it's the first of many internationally. I'm actually flying to Milan, Italy, to meet with a group that want to build a biologic dentistry center in Europe. In Italy, there are some good biologic medicine and biologic dentistry centers in Switzerland, but they're missing some of the pieces too, like Airway Health. Like, really, we need to bring the best dentists. By the way, there are a lot of dentists who are biologic who are not good, and there are a lot of good dentists who are not biologic. So what I'm trying to do is take good dentists who have the hands, the head, the heart, and make them biologic rather than the other way around, because if you
that.
don't have the hands, you're not going to be good. Unfortunately, a lot of dentists who call themselves biologic are just trying to do like safe mercury removal. They don't have all the other components. So I do take new patients. I deliberately do that because some people, and I do help place patients. Mm-hmm. I do Skype interviews with cone beams. Anybody who wants to do a Skype interview can organize that through my office at rejuvedentist.com, or call my office at 212-355-4777. You can give them those links. I'm giving them to you now, and feel free to share that.
Awesome. Yes, and I believe I will be your next, because I think that a big root cause for a lot of my issues that even were happening prior to me putting breast implants in were happening in my mouth, because my labs showed, and I've been one of the sickest patients of my own self because I've run labs on myself for 7-8 years. My immune system is almost like secretory IgA anyway, for my stool test, is almost down to nothing. I've still been the second lowest person I've ever seen, and I've seen thousands of different clients and patients who've come into my practice. So it's really critical. My mouth was full of mercury. I've had many root canals. I have a tooth that's a titanium rod up in my tooth, and I've had all my wisdom teeth pulled. So it's like, hey, here's a recipe for disaster, and then put breast implants in. Yay! Right. And
but here's the best part, Diane. The best part is, first of all, you're beautiful and you have this amazing life force. So I have no doubt that your mission on this earth was to go through this and then share this to help others. And so what you're doing, I applaud. You really are an angel. And just, you really are. So from one angel to another. I'm an Italian angel. So I do have to say this, and this is probably the final thought that I hold so sacred, is we have this divine ability to self-regulate and heal, and you're on a path. I encourage people all the time. I have very, very sick people who come to me. I have a wonderful team of doctors who have that same level of empathy. They have been with me. I've had doctors come in with me and not stay, because it wasn't, they were just on a path where I had to help them a little bit. But the doctors who are with me and stay with me are really exceptional human beings. And they love what they do, and they care very, very deeply. And so they recognize that it is a privilege and an honor to care for someone and help them on their path. And part of helping them on that path is not just fixing their mouth, but ministering to them in their minds, in their hearts, and in their spirits. It's a mind, body, spirit thing in everything we do.
It is. It really is. And it has been the most difficult year of my life, sharing all of this at the same time as I've been facing every single toxin and trauma all at the same time, writing my book, doing the summit. It has been very difficult. At times I've just wanted to quit, but I know deep down the reason that I've been put through all of this is to share this and to bring wise warriors like you into this summit and share the true root causes of not only beauty blockers and as you say, busters, but to really truly look at what wellness is as a whole and what beauty is as a whole. So if you could define beauty to you, that would be my last question for you.
Beauty to me is a state of balance, where the life force inside, that the life force that we have, I just built the first biologic center for medicine, dentistry, beauty, and wellness in East Hampton, New York. And it's Rejuvenation Health in East Hampton, New York. So I'm sort of pivoting from dentistry into bringing the wall down between dentistry and wellness. And I was thinking of what the tagline for Rejuvenation Health was. And the tagline is unlock the vital force within. Unlock the vital force within. And it just came to me, and I realized that beauty is unlocking that vital force, because every single living human being on this planet has a beauty unique to themselves. It is, that's why I love the movie Shrek too, because there's beauty in all of this. It's not just external, it's inner beauty coming out. And we radiate, we all have an aura, there's an aura that we project. And so, and I realize that, I'm understanding this so much more by just praying for that wisdom every day, that intuitive wisdom that you have, that I have. And it's a beautiful thing because you can see the beauty in every person. You can see when somebody's injured, like yourself. You have been through a lot, but it's part of the path. It's part of the process of coming through. That beauty is unlocking that life force within, because that's where the love and it's so, beauty and love are so connected too. Because really, that divine force is just pure love, and when that love, I believe that love is what makes us beautiful too. This is a great topic.
It is.
I love it.
It is. And I just hurt so much for so many women who are spending tens of thousands of dollars on artificial beauty. And I can see the pain on their frozen faces. And that's not said with judgment. That's said with deep empathy, because I've done it too.
Yes.
I've done the Botox.
Yes.
I've done the breast implants. I was that. And now I can see what real beauty is from within because of getting rid of these toxins and really confronting our traumas. And when we start to clear them both simultaneously, that's when we can truly feel love and truly feel beauty. And then that's selfless because we're able to share that with other people. Investing in our health is the single greatest thing we can do. Our health and our healing, mental, emotional, spiritual, like you said. And then once we do that, then we radiate love and joy because there are no more blocks.
Absolutely.
And that's how it works.
Wow. What you just shared was so powerful, so powerful. And that's why thank you for having me on. I know you were chasing me down. It took a while to get me.
You're so
actuality. I wasn't like I really love participating in this because what you just shared is just a beautiful mission statement for why all this is. I always tell patients there are no accidents. There's a plan and a purpose. And I said, there's a verse in the ancient Torah in Chronicles, and it says, "For I alone know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans to bless you and not harm you." Because sometimes it's like, why would a good God allow da-da-da-da-da-da-da?
Right.
Plans to bless you and not harm you, plans to prosper you, give you hope and a future. Yeah. And so sometimes we can't see the forest by the trees, but you look back and you realize that it's all part of a plan.
Yeah.
So I am really excited to know you, really excited to work with you. It would be an honor to care for you and to care for anyone else who's watched this program. I truly love what I do. On the inside of my book, if you open that book on the third page or second page, you'll see a copy of a business card I made at 6 years old. That you have your hand on. Oh, turn one more page. One more. Let's see. Is it that one? There it is. Here. Okay. That's a business card I made when I was 6 years old. When I said a little prayer, God, what should I be when I grow up? And it was like, and what I heard was a little voice that said, I want you to work for me. And then I thought that meant I had to be a Catholic priest. And my mother said, Catholic priests don't get married and have children, she said, why do you want to be a priest? I said, because God told me he wants me to work for him. 6 years old. And I went back to sleep that night. I said, God, I really want to get married and have children like my mommy and daddy. Seemed very unnatural, the whole celibacy thing of Catholicism. So I ended up, everything went through my mind. I woke up the next morning. There were no dentists in my family. I woke up the next morning, and I didn't think I was going to be a dentist. I knew I was going to be a dentist. And I made a business card, and I took it to my dentist, who gave it to my mother, who saved it for 50 years and then gave it to me. shortly, a few years before she died, she found it and gave it to me, that card that I made at 6 years old. So there is a plan. There is a purpose. And thank you for this today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jerry, for all that you do. It's a beautiful, beautiful root tooth to land on there and end on. This went longer than I'd anticipated, but we had so much to share, and I believe that a lot of it came from the heart.
Absolutely.
So thank you for being the literal root cause healing mechanism for so many of us, and I can't wait to work with you too, Dr. Jerry. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for another episode of the Non-Toxic Beauty Revolution, where we are bringing to you the true root cause issues in your tissues that are preventing you from expressing your most beautiful self from the inside out and from the outside in. I'm Diane Kayser, and I'll see you in the next episode.
Thanks for tuning in to today's show. If this episode really tugged at your soul and you're ready to have your personal breakthrough, we would love to have a heart-to-heart with you to get you crystal clear on 3 things. What do you want? What's standing in your way? And how do we get you to your soul goal in the fastest time possible? Visit my site, dianekaiser.com/call to schedule your free 1-hour connection session with one of our warriors to map out exactly how you want to look, feel, and live. We've helped thousands of women warriors just like you all around the world free themselves from the symptoms and suffering they never thought possible. And you just might be our next success story. Talk soon.